Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday again. Well, not much of Monday left. This is week 6, and most things after week 5 are we're getting into the live service part. I don't expect another milestone thing, but we'll see. We can kind of see at the end of today. I've already voiced most of my opinions regarding the maybe middling experience this time around. I think this is has far more of a backward step than a forward step. There are some interesting takes here and there that seems like a great thing to preserve, but I feel like this particular choice, a lot of the choices that were made, feels like it's coming from not the same person that did the last possibly 3 modules. Perhaps they're cycling people, or maybe there's a change of leadership or whatnot. We're getting into the second phase. I call it the post content phase. So the remaining stuff have stayed consistent generally. So most of them are just average days. Unless I see something else. There wasn't any patch notes dealing with there have been some active patching, but not particularly in the area of quality of life or anything dealing with, not something substantially dealing with the experience, right? We're gonna hop in. I think we're just gonna do one character. I really do feel like the experience in this particular module have been incredibly deflating, despite the very strong showing for the other stuff like writing and environment. Let's go right into it. What time? Let's take a track of time. I think the new group, so it introduced a new group of repeatables, and it does look like it's completely grouped together. I just happened to coincidentally land on very specific repeatables. Oh, and the weekly quest is cool. It's really cool. I think it might actually be slightly on par with the others. If you do 3 tasks, it might actually take slightly less time. So perhaps we'll do that again to show. Yeah. So we got everything, right? Everything's good. We get to turn in our weekly activity from last time. And in the back. All right. So, what kind of tasks do we have? Yeah, we can go down to race and then go and do the weekly, right? Pile of corpse. I don't think I've ever done pile of corpse. Have I? I think you have to go around. Yeah, you do have. Oh no, I have off stream. This one is kind of rough actually. Trying to think how you would weave this in. Now we'll do the banishing of the wraiths and then do the weekly, right, for 15. It is 15. Which, if I think about doing 3 tasks, can I accomplish the weekly in the time it takes in the time to do 3 tasks? I think it's about similar, so we'll just do it since it's available. Just gonna jump like here. Hug the wall, right? Keep hugging the wall. Ow. I hope I can find a way down here without destroying my face in the process. Got rubber banding. What? Someone took out some of the wraiths. Yeah, some of the wraiths are missing. So, that's okay. I think it's like similar time. Not the greatest, but also not the worst. It's about mid. So this is about like B rated. Oh great, I triggered the assassin thing again. Amazing. Gotta make sure I don't miss. Okay. Yeah, it takes quite a while. The question is, can I complete 3 repeatables in the time it takes to do this? Probably. And on average, it's probably gonna be slightly below this. So it's more like a B and a C. B to C grade. Even with movement speed. Now we do the maze of clearing these guys out. Oh, actually, there's wraiths here too. So these wraiths probably count. Maybe. That'd be kind of nice. Unless this is not considered being in the instance. Oh, wait. Oh, we don't. No, I was about to say. Oh, we don't have to do the maze again. That's kind of neat. All right, so we do save some time there. The switch is on the outside of the gate. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. That saves maybe 20 seconds-ish. Maybe a minute. Okay. Oh, I could have swapped, wait. Am I safe to stand in this? Sort of. Okay. Okay. Off we go. Okay. All right. That's right. We can grab the extra 5, which does involve a little bit of legwork. You know what? So this gives an extra 5. I wasn't paying attention last time, but it does give 5 currency. Pick whatever you can get. Nickel and dime you for your playtime. I think shielded characters should only have to mitigate. It can't be immune. I think immune. Silly. For those commander guys. Yeah, you have to like run all the way back. Okay. Oh, and these hallways always lock your companion into facing walls. That happens too. And this thing is placed way too close to Mr. Grave Robber here. Okay. Nope. I was testing if you still get charmed when you're battle rage, and of course you do. Of course you get charms while you're in battle rage. Yeah, so we get 15 and we pop back out here. Oh, it didn't count the raves either. So that's disappointing. Okay though. You know, okay. All right. So I got an extra bonus 5, right? I'm waiting for an assassin to pop up because assassins are F tier. Big Fs. Okay, so we have the rat pack, which goes along with burning the burial sites. Demand and supply. Yeah. Okay. And for that, again, most disagreeable choice. So we're gonna go burn these guys, then start on the pile. Supplies, I feel, is a little bit quicker than rations. They're about the same. So kinda B-ish. Oh, someone cleared it out for us. Nice. Okay. Ooh. That saves time. Silver lining. Oh, actually, this will take us down. We're really close. Hoppity hoppity. I think you can sneak these. Oh, we're up here too, so we can do the pages. And of course the assassin shows up. Just defeats of assassins. F tier. It adds negative time to everything. Okay. Back. We need all of these guys. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Don't. Oh, come on. Wait. Oh. I can. Heck. Hello? There's that one guy over there too. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't. Yeah, interactions are... interact timers are... lack of a better word. Superfluous. Well, legitimately just there to inflate game time. We can sneak the... gain weight. Take us down here and then over there. No Fs, please. No Fs. Personally, I like the idea of having like the event repeatables where all the repeatables are displayed and you can pick which repeatable to do, and that's it. And then when you complete them and you turn them in, they just show up again. So instead of forcing a random thing, which personally that's fantastic if they were largely treated equal, but they're not. Having repeatables displayed as separate things and just picking the repeatables you want to do, and maybe like putting a cap of 3 each or something, then sure, if you want to inflate time. But the idea that you are even the task is up to RNG, and the task that you like or not is still affected by your design choice, like weeklies and whatnot. Having a choice of which repeatables you do is kind of nice too. I mean, what they did is they separated into 3 people, so you can hope that one of the individuals like it, but you're going to pick up all 3 because you want to have as many quests active in the field as possible, especially to offset. You've registered PDF files. Is it cool if you chill in here? There's a new law in your state says you have to announce your status even online. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Registered PDF file. Sure. I don't know what that means. Okay, so medicinal wraiths again. All right. And undead. Oh, okay. That's actually a pretty nice group. You did your time. I see. Oh, I see. Fair enough. Okay. Medicinal. So medicinal is it's okay. This is like a C. It's definitely a C. The Shamblers, you know, if the Shamblers were a little bit more generous, could be a B. Definitely a C. All right. Give me 2. Come on, don't be stingy. 1. All right. Fair enough. Stingy little guys. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Not like this. Come here. Alright. 1. Maybe they can't give more than 1. That's kind of stingy. Yeah, this is, yeah, we're gonna downgrade this. This is totally a C. You get a C. Alright. Oh, come on, buddy. My coral is not with you. Right. 10? I would take 10. I think this would be a B if it was 10. But it is not 10, it is 20. And that's like pinching pennies. Come on. Oh, there's a 2. Okay. So it is possible to get more than one. So if you get unlucky, you have to wait for respawns. Or you can wait for the herbs to be oh, you can get 3. Never mind. So unlucky. Unlucky. Go grab the wraiths. The wraiths also have undead in it. Things. That's pretty good. Undead is S tier. Wraiths A tier. Wraiths definitely A tier. Actually, I'm not sure how many of those things are undead down there. Ow. Hello, game. Register the incline, please. I appreciate it. Only 4 wraiths here? Huh. Okay. Hmm. 6 wraiths. Where did the other 2 go? Pretty sure. Oh. The 2 are up here. Okay. Alright. Oh, there's actually not. There are actually 9. Oh, come on, you little zombie chicken. Alright. It's another 15. Where are we? We can do 2 more rounds and then do the weekly. That gives us 100. We're at 15 minutes. 15-20 minutes. Not too bad. It's definitely slower than the vanilla group in the beginning. Like before they introduced the 2 additional repeatables. The overall time went up. She didn't land on goofy ones. Oh, that's pretty. These are good. Come on. Oh, come on. It landed on Slay Assassin, Red Ambush. That is like, that's not F tier. That's like, I can't even describe how ridiculous that is. Having an assassin as one of the repeatables. Makes me want to scream. Okay. And now we go grab the trolls. Trolls, definitely A tier. Was it always 10? I thought it was 6. Trolls? Trolls are like S. We're gonna have to go with that. The bar is fairly low. Undead and trolls, definitely pretty good. Yep. And then we can't do assassins because whoever decided that is it's a crying shame that someone thought that's a great idea. Probably the most disagreeable part of last week. Finding out that one of the repeatables require you to slay an assassin. That's like, hey, I came up with this great mechanic for the zone thing, and you're obligated to do it. Rejoice. Rejoice in my cleverness. That means we're probably not going to do it quickly. So rations. Ration is the same person. So we can't double up on that ever. Vanishing Act. Vanishing Act is pretty lukewarm as well. We're like dwindling down to the worst stuff. Vanishing Act is C. Rations B because of pathing. Do it this way. One here. Then we go over here. Got the cart. On the cart here. Okay. And then gotta clear these guys out. Okay. Grab this. Then there's one in the little where the special spawn is, and then two in the corner. Go around here. Loop in. Okay. Side. Whoop. Here. Go through here. Corner. And then those. There's one over. That's not the dirt. Okay. So grab this. Still can't get assassins back up. Right. Need to get the assassins to actually do the quest. Uh-oh. The server stopped responding. All of a sudden. Well, that's one way. That's one way to get you to stop. Server stop responding. I don't think there is a no, I don't think there's a maintenance. Huh. Weird. We'll give it a Okay. Yep. It's been a while since that happened. I don't know what triggered it. Okay. Anyways, we're back. Go over here. Do this vanishing act. And hopefully doing the vanishing act causes enough to trigger the assassin, right? The assassin, so you can take out an assassin. The thing about repeatables is repeatables, in my opinion, at minimum, should be accessible, not on a time basis. I think that is salting wounds on how disagreeable this module has been. One key. Joy. How many times has 9 gone back and forth from bed and ashes? What's that even? Oh, 3 keys. No keys. Need healer. Don't need cube. That's kind of funny. Whoever thought needing a cube do damage to a mob is also an interesting choice in this module. Yeah, you guys can chill. Okie dokie. Yeah, C. This is C. C territory. Especially the interaction stuff. Like, I think that I don't understand, honestly, that part. Having long interaction times. It adds up. It does add up though. Well, I without saying too much, I understand what they're trying to do, but I don't like having to justify. Amazing. My input got eaten there and then caused me to stand still for a very, very long time. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, game. And now I have no keys. Because I needed those mobs. And these guys don't give keys. Oh, so aggravating. So infuriating. Happened again. Ate my input. Somehow they're like extra strong too. I almost want to downgrade this. Right, because like, look, now you have to wait. You have to wait for respawns. It's exactly 10, obviously, but it's not 10. It's 20. Let's double that. I think 10 and below makes up for acceptable decrease in weeklies. I think weeklies still gonna be a sore spot. Yep, still gotta wait on assassins. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. That means I'm turning in 10 at a time. We can grab the last 15 and we'll be one short. It's already ballooned to an hour. Yeah, and you're always gonna get supplies. One area. That person will always stick you with somewhere in there. We can go here, grab the stuff, and then TP to East Plaza. And since you're kind of avoiding attacking peeps, I'm gonna go around nonsensically attacking things to generate the thieves. That's not the thieves, the assassins. Silver lining. They made the thieves or the assassin thing come up faster, so I guess that kind of offsets the having. Oops. Offsets having that quest in the first place. Just not having the quest would be fantastic. I think they're legitimately very few ways to justify that there's an upside to having this quest. Red ambush. Konbawa. Hello. Good evening. How are you? Hello, hello. How are you today? Alright, let's see. No whammies. No whammies. Is it cleared out? It usually gets cleared out because this is a bottleneck. anything that deals with this particular cubby hole is a bottleneck or quest. So we have to switch instances because there's someone already there. They probably killed 2, so we have to go through the cycle of taking out all of them and waiting for a respawn. They might as well change the instance. We're missing 1. Hate my input. Okay. Oh, assassins are up. Hooray! Now I can complete this thing. And how do I complete it? By running around and wasting time. Oh, actually, I just go back and turn the last 2 in. Hope to complete the 2 and then slay an assassin. Although I would be done by now. I would be done precisely this moment if quest like Red Ambush wasn't superfluously roped into it. Like, just placed it in there. Remove it, please. What I have to say to that? Remove it, please. Still got another 3 weeks. Thrall, okay. So I saw Thrall and rations again because we only have those 2 guys. So you get, after you get this assassin person, when you land on assassin, you get stuck with the 2 separate ones. Was it intentional? Possibly. Possibly. Where are you, assassin? Heroic encounters? Forget about it. The Nebula? Forget about it. Assassins? Forget about it. Weeklies? Like the weeklies, even the intro weekly? Forget about it. Oh, that's the Neberoth message. Yeah, you and then trial, forget about it. So it's like over 50% of the content, like, nah, hard pass. It's kind of a soft pass for the trial, but time zone. Let's see. Yeah. So we didn't end up completing the assassin quest, so I guess we'll just leave it for next time. We do have to complete it at some point. I've been doing well. How are you? What are you up to? Oh, this is rations. Life's been busy, been better, but trucking on studying kanji right now. I see. Is this a downtime for you, or like, is that new? Was there a point when you weren't studying kanji because of other things? And life's been less busy now or something, so now you have time for some kanji. Back on the grind. I think it's pretty steady here. Pretty steady. We spent most of last month playing Clear Obscure, so very, very much the highlight. You think you got a comfortable point where you can comfortably concentrate on kanji? Before it was more hiragana, katakana, vocab, stroke orders. I see. Stroke order. No pitch accent, huh? Oh, here's the assassin. Not the greatest time to have one. Highlighted right on trap. Amazing. And the assassin killed me because it got the jump and it did a crit to my face. So thank you. Thank you, heckin' Cryptic. Worst thing in the world. Thank you, Cryptic. Easily below like not even F tier. It should be delete tier. Just delete it. Delete the quest. Remove the quest from the queue. For a second you thought I was playing Wizard 101? I can kind of see that actually. Now Japanese learning has been sentence structure, vocab, and kanji. So how is it that stroke order? Did you just decide like, nah, stroke order is like another time or something like that? Where does stroke order fit into all of that? Wizard 101. I think that game is still running, isn't it? I know the picture of Wizard. I think it's still running, right? 2008. Got 5 years on 5 years on Neverwinter. You think choke order for how to write? Oh, but you got come from that. Also, vocab and kanji is hand in hand, so save time also. Yeah, it pretty much is. You think this is the fun part of learning a language? Oh, that's interesting. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so we get these things. We can sell these things. Combat Avenger 20 while in location on Sword Coast. Interesting. Do I see any flips? Nope. Minimum design. Yep. Nothing added to it, right? That's it. Okay. Maybe some store related thing? No, I don't think so. No, not really. I think that's it. I'll do my other one other character. I think we'll do 2 characters. It's a good time to do that. Let's see if I got unlucky this time. So that took over an hour. Sort of in. So we can do this in less. 12:30. 12:30. So, have you been doing your Japanese studies ever since, or is this something that you set time aside to do, like infrequently, or do you just do this every day? Place of surveillance. Why are there only 2? Wait, what's going on? What is this pointing to? Oh, yeah. What is going on? Oh, is it? Oh. Is it this one here? No, it's not. Oh, I know where it is. Yeah, so what are you learning right now? You do 4 vocab a week. Hold up. 1 second. You do 4 vocab a week. Every 3 days is a lesson of some sort, which is mainly bigger. Every 3 days, okay. Like grammar or sentence structure, but daily you do quick quizzes like Duolingo for Alphabet, another app for numbers. Ah, okay. It sounds like a solid routine. How long have you been going about doing that? So we need to go over there. I also need to up there. You're just having a hard time finding a way to practice your speaking. I think that's fine. You can just do it much downstream. You don't have to juggle all those things, but if it does provide a source of motivation, then that is certainly something to consider. Probably 5 months. The prior 4 months to that was just finding the groove and the study flow and what studying looks like. What was the last time you did something like studying for stuff or working, like have a structure of some sort? What did you do before? Maybe something at work? Oh, I forgot the activities. Yeah. Warden, keys. The zombie stags. Guess we're doing zombie stags. Ugh. Stags are D tier. Probably basketball. You joined a team last season. That was practice every 2 days, and then a game 1 to 2 times a week. Oh. I see. Are you still doing the basketball thing, or is it like some sort of off season? Interesting. Guess it's C tier if you're on a tank. Nope. F tier because of another player. It's a D tier. D tier stuff. Off season now, your friend talked you into volleyball, so you start that next week. Never played in your life, but you did start watching IQ, hoping that helps. That's kind of funny. Did you watch all of Haikyuu? What position are you gonna... What position do you jive with? I'm not sure if that's how your volleyball thing. You're probably gonna do a cycle kind of rotational volleyball. Probably. On episode 12, you think you're back. You think you're in the back. Oh, okay. Oh, joy. It's the heckin' assassin again. Alright, I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna take my chances that I don't get that utterly gross, disagreeable, gross quest. This one's pretty gross though. You got sidetracked though and somehow ended up watching Slam Dunk. Oh, I see. What about Kokoro no Basket? No Basket. Yeah. Kokoro no Basket. I think that's what it's called. I watched all of that. I didn't watch all of it. I didn't start with Slam Dunk yet. Oh yeah, it's great. You cosplay as one of the characters back in 2015. Slam Dunk. You're that tall? Kidding, kidding. As far as I know, those guys are like 9 feet tall. Oh, a Kokoro. Okay. Sorry, English units, but all of them are giants. I mean the Slam Dunk guys. Kokoro had some tall guys, but not really. It's more like a friendship type of show. Which character did you go as? I've watched a lot of sports anime. Although, now that I think about it, I haven't watched a lot of very obvious ones too. I think right now, what is it? Windbreaker? I have not watched that. Which one is that? We're talking about like classic ones. Like Cross Game, Hajime no Ippo, Prince of Tennis. brown oh. Is that his name? Yeah, I don't remember, like, oof. You have to pardon me on that name thing. I remember which one that is. Have you seen Cross Game before? It's kind of, I think it's kind of like Kokoro no Basket. Less so IQ, but more Kokoro no Basket. Is it old? It's kind of. It looks retro too. It's also meant to look retro. It's about baseball. Cross Game. It does get really caught up in baseball. Yeah, baseball. Fairly long. It's about family values as well. Baseball. It's a very well-regarded one. Too. I didn't watch, like, here's a few that I didn't watch. Yuri on Ice. That sent a lot of waves. The cycling one. Unless Windbreaker is the cycling one. There's a running one. I didn't watch the cycling or the running one. There's a comedy one about dumbbells, lifting dumbbells. You think Yuri on Ice won Anime of the Year? Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen that. So there are some obvious sports ones that when I say I've seen a lot of sports anime, I haven't seen a lot of obvious too that I'm getting around to. I don't have any peepos. Like, we watch anime, but typically it's void of sports, so I would have to pick up the sports. The thing that I've recently done in terms of anime is I watch 1,123 episodes of One Piece. So I'm like current, sort of. I'm near current. I'm at the arc before the current arc, which I'm just gonna let them go about doing that. So the last 4 months, the last 4 or 5 months I watched that. It does help that you just listen to it, right? It does help that if you have Japanese under your belt, I suppose. And I'm gonna start Gintama soon. So Gintama is gonna be my immersion. Oh, and of course I get the assassin quest. Of course I get the assassin quest. You started Gintama? I started Gintama before, and I kind of stopped at season 1, so I'm just gonna start from the beginning again. It kind of gets serious right away. I mean, like, wait. How many episodes are you in to Gintama? All its arcs are a slice of life comedy set up for serious and it repeats. Episode 11, yeah, your current arc is about to get serious. So every it's a serialized shonen, so it goes through periods. It's defined as your shonen. Like One Piece goes through the same serialized pattern, along with, you know, Naruto, My Hero Academia, and that all around feel. Yeah, so I will probably try to use Gintama as my source of wind down Japanese starting soon. Although I do want to pick up a one shot series for the time being, before I start Gintama, because then I just do it regularly. Have I seen Death Parade? Yes, I have. That's over 10 years ago though. I actually saw the premiere of its one shot. Like, what I mean is, I saw it when the director was premiering it at Otakon as a sneak peek to an upcoming series. And then I watched Death Parade when it came out. But I watched the first, like, demo. It wasn't the first episode of Death Parade. It was like a middle episode when they were like doing a promo for it, a pilot for Death Parade. I really like the concept. Has it been? I don't know. I think it's been more than 10 years, right? Or it's close to 10 years. Check me. Like, give me a double check. I don't know date off the top of my head, but I feel like it's very close to 10 years, if not more than 10 years. Okay, yep. That's a wild guess because I would have been plus or minus 1 year. I'm usually like plus or minus 1 or 2 years off. It does help that I saw the promo in 2014 for Death Parade, so I imagine that's pretty much it's been 10 years since I watched Death Parade. I really like it. I actually one of the band that does the intro to Death Parade is still going strong, and they're still keeping that like funk retro Americana thing going, the ballroom funk aesthetic going. The intro to Death Parade is amazing. Such a groove. Alright, so we have Zombie Stags, Vanishing Act, amazing. I feel like I shouldn't have done this, so man. Am I into slice of life? Yes, I've seen. Well, I watch a lot of anime. So, yeah, Bradio. I mean, I'm not into a lot of things. I watch things out of interest. So, Plays Further Than Universe is a great one season. I've seen that. Yeah. There are a lot of great slice of life ones for sure. Right now, the one shot that I'm thinking of in terms of, actually, I don't have a slice of life one shot on my thoughts. Yeah. You just watch seasonally, or how do you go about doing your anime? We've been through Cowboy Bebop and GTO. GTO has been more than 15 years. Cowboy Bebop has been more than 18 years, I guess. Outside, unless you count watching the live action version, Netflix's live action version of Cowboy Bebop. Or yeah. You go by feeling. You're feeling flaky though when it comes down to it. You'll start and end around episode 6. Oh, I see. Here's a slice of life mixed with comedy. Did you watch Sakamoto Day? I recently watched Sakamoto Day. That's pretty lighthearted. There's season 2 comes out next month. along with Dan, because they're both published by Netflix, so they're on the same schedule, or on a staggered schedule with each other, right? Yeah, right after each other. So Dan season 2. Barakumon. Remind me what that is. I don't know if I've seen that. I don't think I've seen that. That doesn't ring a bell to me. Pitch me. Pitch me, Barakumon. Ugh, F tier, F tier. I feel like this is getting downgraded to an F tier. Wow, 0 keys. F tier. F tier for days. One key. A calligrapher whose skill-wise perfect lose a competition and give it so his... No, I haven't seen it. Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar. Interesting. And then his dad sends him to the island the day he grew up, countryside, to get more humble and learn his own style. Basically teach him that it's not about tech, makes art beautiful. That's interesting. I like it. Maybe I'll watch that. That sounds great. Have you watched The March of Lions? Or Sangatsu no Raion? That's a different take on being good at something but learning something else and getting humbled by the meaning and value of life, but being skilled at the same time, but in a different way. Not the arrogance and the humbling, naive way, more like the distraught and out of touch way. It's 2 seasons long. I consider it a one shot because it's more like the 2 seasons and then that's it. You did, coincidentally, probably right after finishing Barakumon. Okay. Didn't finish it though. Yeah, that's kind of... It's the espresso depresso thing, right? When you're very skilled and you're on an island, you can be very isolated from the way you find rewards in life for being skillful and not understanding to appreciate and being detached from certain things that make life valuable. Yeah, well, that's a slice of life for you. Although it's kind of like an espresso depresso slice of life. If you want something fast paced, probably Look Back, the movie Look Back. That'll get your knickers in a bunch very rapidly. It's a movie, so inherently the movie has to be faster paced. Kind of idea about knowing and being grateful for the time you have, and then dealing with the idea of being good at something but following one's passion. It's a similar theme. Look Back has has very similar notes, but they wrapped it up in a very brisk 1.5 hour runtime. I do enjoy watching those type of topics. Meaning of life, motivation, that type of thing. Yeah, it's probably the anime, arguably the anime, one of the contenders for the anime movie of the year last year. Was it last year? It could have been last year. It's the guy, the fun part about that is it's the guy who wrote Chainsaw Man. Or, yeah, Chainsaw Man. I always say that because I watched that movie after I watched Chainsaw Man with the guys, so it's quite a pivot. It's I feel like maybe the mangaka was or the writer was like writing something about their lives. It was not the same anime style. Um, different studio. Oh, Mappa did Chainsaw Guy, but this one is more like Shinkai stuff. So like Your Name and stuff, but a lot rougher around the edges. He has a very distinct style. I don't think it's but it's not the Mappa. It's not Mappa style. You think anime that left an impact on you? Taxi. You watch Taxi. That is a niche psychological depresso expresso down my alley type of thing that I don't often expect other people to watch. It's an oddball. You know, Taxi was fantastic. It does kind of remind me in a really weird way Taxi Driver, but it ended up not being Taxi Driver. Go to Enjoy Song. That is another one with a funky, yeah. What you call it? Odd Taxi. Have you seen the movie The Taxi Driver? Or Taxi Driver, just know the. Like, we're talking about the old Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro. It didn't end up that way, but I often wondered if Odd Taxi was giving off that. Is this the Korean movie or the one with Jimmy Fallon? No. The one with Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, the 1981. But which one is the one with the Scorsese? I think it was someone like Scorsese. It might be Kubrick. You know, it might be Scorsese now that, but it could be Kubrick. Oh, Scorsese. It's Scorsese. Yeah. Cinema, you know? Cinema. Sorry, sometimes when we get really far back, sometimes I get a Kubrick film mixed up sometime every once in a while. Cinema. Yeah, the end, how Taxi Driver ended up is not the same as Odd Taxi, but it deals with similar things, similar themes, like a person going through life, dealing with certain things, but he's not quite sure the like the mental state of the character is in play. And I really do enjoy watching a lot of different types of media dealing with mental states, because it's provocative. Taxi 2004, Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon. I feel like I know the poster for this film. Oh yes. Yee. Am I into Japanese films? Yeah, there was a time when I wanted to be a director, so we had to expand our eclectic we had to get a little cultured with our films. So Kurosawa is a must, right? Takeshi? Miike Takeshi? Or oh no, it's someone else. Ike Takeshi Kitanos. Well, you're gonna have to name a movie. I don't know who that is. Are you talking about? Well, I know Takeshi's Castle, but oh, you're saying Oh, no. I misread your thing. I misread your thing. I misread your message. I thought you were typing Ike, but that's like. You're saying I might like Takeshi Kitano. I thought you were saying Ike, like as in a name. Well, I already saw Takeshi's Castle. Yeah, and also the reboot. In fact, actually the host of Takeshi's Castle was one of the voice actors in Like a Dragon. Yakuza 6, actually. Song of. He was one of the characters. The host for Takeshi's Castle. Kikujiro. Oh, I haven't seen this. Interesting. Yeah, oh, Takeshi Kitano is his name. Yeah. In Yakuza 6, he's actually one of the characters. And when I was playing Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? And then later on they rebooted Takeshi's Castle. Netflix, not Netflix, sorry. Amazon rebooted Takeshi's Castle. And when I saw him in the game, I was like, no way. And I just realized that he was actually Takeshi's Castle's original host. Yeah. You started Yakuza and you got Yakuza 0, but you do recommend Ujiro and Hanabi psychological films? I see. Man, here I thought you were gonna go straight into Kurosawa. You know, Akira Kurosawa of when it comes to Japanese cinema. Hard to pass by. You know, like Rashomon and Ran and Seven Samurai. Dealy. You never had the chance to get into Kurosawa besides Yojimbo. Yeah. Yojimbo does do be starting that. I thought you might have been talking about Miike, Takeshi, or Takashi. Wait, hold up. Is it Takashi? No. Cheers. No, yeah, his name is Takashi. Takashi Miike. He's more recent. So, 13 Assassins would be a great contemporary movie for Miike. Although that's not what he usually directs. He directs things like Ichi the Killer. Ichi the Killer is closer to some of the stuff he directs. He's an incredibly somewhat inconsistent. he makes a lot of movies, like a lot of movies, but the most notable breakout is in the Western market is 13 Assassins. If you want to have a movie that is incredibly slow, stooping pace, like brooding, sluggish pace until the build up, until you have to like quite literally emotionally climax in the last 15 minutes, and it has to be like Kurosawa inspired, it's probably 13 Assassin. I feel like Miike knew exactly what he was doing in that movie. Most of his movies, you're not quite sure. Like Miike went before 13 Assassins, you're not quite sure what he's doing. Like when you're watching the movie, like you often ask yourself, where is he going with this? But 13 Assassin, it reminds me of who's the director? It reminds me a lot of Hideki Anno. Hideki Anno and in Shin Godzilla. I still haven't seen Godzilla, Zero. I haven't seen Zero yet. I did watch Shin Godzilla in theaters. Like a indie film theater. Hideyaki, sorry, I mispronounced his name. It's Hideyaki. What's his name? Hideyaki Anno. That one's good, great change of pace. I know, right? But it's the same build up. By chance have I seen Perfect Days? Is that the... No, I have not. Oh, this looks nice. I think I'm gonna watch Perfect Days. Oh, this looks pleasant. Wim Wenders. Is this like a multinational? This screams to me a multinational. Yep, multinational. I will immediately watch multicultural films. So that is gonna be something I'll watch this evening. It's being content with mundane life. Most of the films that I typically watch are being content with. It's called modern life. Modern life is what I would call it. Like, I refer to it as modern life movies, and that is a very common Western genre. Modern life. So like a movie called Private Life is great. Private Life is pretty good. I like modern titles, but the names of their movies do not, like Win-Win. I think Western writers tend to write about a modern life. So just things that happen, and learn to appreciate what life throws at you in today's society, but Western society. But I haven't seen one that does a combination of, it looks like German and Japanese. Because when I looked at the names, it's a co-authoring. That's kind of neat. I love multicultural stuff. Sounds like your common kind of genre. It's kind of like slice of life in anime, but more about the serene and peacefulness instead of the absurdity of comedy and whatnot. And I quite like those. Like I watched an entire here's one that recently that I enjoy quite a lot in the Western film. I'm kind of a fan of Paul Giamatti in modern indie films. So most of the indie films he just plays that average Joe. That, like, while he gets like B positions in like comedies, you know, like blockbusters and stuff, he's always like the minor or is the supporting character. But whenever he picks up, when someone needs like an average Joe for a modern life movie, that's who he is most of the time. Was it that Christmas movie he did? Yeah, it kind of dealt with Christmas. Yes, the what is the name? The Holdovers. It does deal with Christmas, so you might, yeah, Holdovers, exactly. That movie was wonderful. That's the type of movie that I watch most of the time. Yeah, I love my favorite is one of, like, this is, take it with a grain of salt. It's not really favorite, but my guilty pleasure. I have a guilty pleasure, and my guilty pleasure often deals with lots of people who have different circumstances, and they are all hurting. All the characters hurt, but when they're together, they make it work. I absolutely love modern life movies like that, and that's what modern life movie, or I call it the modern life genre, where, like, yeah, people have people grieve. Kids don't care about their parents, right? Their parents neglect their kids, and then but you find companionship, right? You can find companionship in many places. And I love the unlikely companionship when dealing with process of grief, friendship, isolation, lack of role models. So on Holdovers, knocked it out of the park. Actually, if you look at Paul Giamatti's like indie career, almost all of the movies he's in are modern life movies, starting with Sideways, way back in the 90s. Win-Win is another one. It's about a father. It's about family life, modern family life, and like adoption and being a surrogate parent. Private Life is dealing with having children in the modern society. Private Life, it's still Paul Giamatti, by the way. Private Life was 2018, and it's about a couple who is trying to conceive a child in this day and age. And they try to do their best, and it almost all of these movies have a similar synopsis without like really demonstrating or being able to tell you what it's like. It's the performances in the movie that makes you feel real, because they're these movies tend to highlight, in my opinion, how actors can make characters that they don't have. Like, they're not the characters, right? They are acting the characters, and these movies have to be very close to portraying believable characters, right? Like, what does a mother that has trouble conceiving, how do you portray that? And I love those things, so I do have a guilty pleasure for that. Petitious, someone I know, got me to watch. These are also coming of age movies are another really common one, and slice of life tends to end up being coming of age movies as well. And I watched let me check here. I watched these were great. The Kings of Summer. The Kings of Summer was pretty fantastic. And then The Way Back. The Way Back. Those were coming of age, but they also coming of age tends to be complementary, very complementary to modern life. They usually end dealing with modern life themes. This sounds like happy people. Random question: why do you think these films speak to you, and how do they end up becoming something that speaks to you? Coming of age is very useful because it helps with creative aspects of looking at speaking to children or speaking to younger people. And then modern life is what I live now. So oftentimes I spend most of my time concerning about human behavior and how they do coping, because that's kind of what I spent most of my life doing. Like, what I mean is, not only did I literally spend a lot of time doing these things, I spent most of my life contributing to teaching, right? Teaching and education. But one of the core things that often get in the way of speaking about objectivity, right, is everything else. So where's your source of motivation? All the things that could come up that's problematic about the person's emotional state and mental state. And those things are tied to hypotheticals and or real events. But I don't go around precipitating or witnessing or being around trauma. And one way to explore that is creatively in films. Films tend to elicit that same thing. The writers, people who write and create art, tends to be projecting a lot of their observations about human behavior and their own stories. So when I play video games and whatnot, I also look for that. Like Clear Obscura, if you want a dark fantasy game dealing with grief, you can play Clear Obscura. That is certainly one way to depict like surrealistic, maybe like mental stuff. It enables me to come up with hypotheticals, so I don't have to go around looking for trouble. I can use art and filmmaking as a way to get closer and connected with people who experience grief and whatnot, and the depiction of grief that I wouldn't wish upon myself. Like, I don't want, personally, in order to be more efficacious in talking to other people and relating and doing communication work and whatnot, I watch these films. It creates the sensitivity that resonates with me. I like watching people's stories, so I do watch documentaries as well. Like, documentaries or dramatizations are based on a famous person, like for example the electric life of, what is it, I keep forgetting the person's name, the electric life of Louis Wayne, the one that was portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch, or like a Beautiful Mind, right? A Beautiful Mind, Imitation Game, all those also still continue to portray someone in some way and reveal life patterns. Are you also into comedy by chance? I'm quite selective to comedy. I watch it because other people find things funny, so probably not so much. Not so much, but it doesn't mean I didn't watch them. Like, for example, the most recent comedy I watched was Stuntman. I think it's just called Stuntman, with Ryan Gosling. And it deals with stunt work. And the reason why I was interested in that, it is a comedy, but also a romance comedy, but it is also related to my interests originally sparked by like Corridor Crews, a reaction with stuntmen. And then I was really into stunt work because back in the day, I used to watch Kung Fu movies, things like Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, Jet Li and stuff. And it kind of remind me of a modern day westernization of stunt work, it behind the scenes stuff. So it was a stunt work movie with stunt work in it. So it was quite lovely. That is most definitely a comedy. So quite lighthearted, if you wanna, as an example. I think it's just called Stuntman. Yeah, 2024. Oh no, wait, just kidding. It's not. The Fall Guy, not Stuntman. The Fall Guy. Sorry. Stuntman is a Japanese thing that I'm thinking of, I think. But honestly, it's kind of related. But The Fall Guy, sorry. The Fall Guy, not Stuntman. The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling. And that was, what was that? 2023? It was 2023. Fall Guy. No, 2024. Very recent. There's also, like, in terms of comedy, there's situational comedy. I watch a lot of situational comedy stuff. Like Quentin Tarantino is situational comedy. Although there's other drama and whatnot, but there's a lot of situational comedy. Or British situational comedy, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. That's a very left field one. Or you can have like comedy, like anything with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Those, I've seen those, like Hot Fuzz. At World's End, Shaun of the Dead. Right, and then you have random things with the Coen brothers. Coen brothers also make situational comedy. Inglourious Bastards. Yeah, that's them, right? Yes. A Burn After Reading. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That kind of thing. So that's situational comedy. I don't I don't often go out of my way to look at like slapstick comedy or like in your face comedy, but I have seen some highlighted ones like Super Bad, for example. Um, anything with Will Ferrell in it, that happens. Like the Anchor, right? The Anchor, Talladega Nights. But that's also spawning off of interest of other people, not necessarily my own. I don't go out of my way to look at in your face comedy. I do have a soft spot for British comedy though. Situational irony is fantastic. Um, series of unfortunate events, right? That type of thing is very British. It's kind of one of those. In fact, I actually think Sherlock is a great comedy show, even though it's not specifically tied to comedy. But I just find the chemistry between, or like Bad Omen. Is it Bad Omen or Good Omen? The Netflix published show with the two guys. Man, I don't remember their names. British comedy has great timing and well calculated wording. Yes, very tactful, very clever, like quips, very quippy in the not bombastic in your face. I think westernized, like Americanized comedy has been more about the in your face, crude, fourth wall breaks. So like stating obviousness, and that's what I mean by the in your face comedy. Like, hey, gee, man, this is as hard. This hits hard at like your insightfulness is as great as a TikTok video or something. Like it's very internet culture, fourth wall stuff when it comes to American. But British comedy still like continue to stick to their guns on looking at it from the perspective of just being witty, like witty in the sense of using timeless foundations for observations about life, as opposed to like heavy-handedness in internet culture, which I'm a little biased. It's refreshing. I like refreshing. I don't particularly am the person who, well, that's why I say like modern life is a guilty pleasure. There are very few things that I would want to watch consistently because it's the same, as in it gives me the consistent similar feel. Like I don't go out of my way to watch similar things. I more often am inclined to ask other people's interest and then I'll watch it. So like the movie you mentioned, Perfect Days, I'm gonna watch that. that's probably something I want to watch. Because it's off the radar. I am a bit of a hipster when it comes to trying to get more exposure. Cross-cultural stuff, instant. I think if there's a cross-cultural stuff, like a different integration or different combination of multicultural writing, that's like Blue Eye Samurai would be a great example. It's an animated series, but Blue Eyed Samurai, you get things like that, and I absolutely love that. I have a guilty pleasure for, or I have a bias, not a guilty pleasure, but I have a bias towards it because I like interfaces of what having multiple cultures breeds. And Clear Obscure is a great example. Clear Obscure is multicultural. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I mean, I would part of why I enjoy language learning is the multicultural aspect, or the potential for multicultural aspect of it. Not from a purist standpoint, where like you're abandoning one culture for another culture, or one culture is better than another culture, that kind of situation. It's more like, how can you find the beauty in representing both? it does come with your classic identity crises and whatnot. Like, oh, but what if two cultures are at odds with each other? Well, your life is long. One's life is not isolated to one point. One can choose to spend some time here and then spend another time there. What were your ideas on comedy? Do you have any particular shining examples of comedy? Like, be greedy. I understand that greed is a vice, but being greedy in wanting to be cultured, I feel like that's okay. Like, try to experience those things. I know it might not be a cup of tea and sometimes it's a hit or miss, but it's what's great about being human. Like, modern life movies are fantastic because it's a great exploration of the mundane from the different lens. Your life is limited by your first-hand experiences, but it doesn't limit you to being greedy to wanting to understand other people's stories, other people's culture, learning other people's languages. That's what I spend most of my free time doing. So when I go back to your random question that you asked, like, what does it resonate with me? Is it because it's people's stories. Like, I want to know and get to connect with other people. And one of the greatest mediums of expression is through art. And art can come in the form of many ways, and one of them is telling a story. Perhaps one day I will also write a few stories of my own. I tell the stories, on and off. Whenever someone brings me a question, I tend to try to infuse some of the stories that I'm neither going to confirm nor deny that I've been writing for a while, but, sometime down the line when I'm old and unable to speak at length and whatnot, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if I decide to release some of that stuff. I always wanted to tell a wonderful story. Most of the time, though, I practice talking and communicating the stories, not necessarily publishing or anything like that. You usually see a balance in introspectiveness between modern life films and comedy. I see. A lot of comedians I notice have a high IQ in people's mentalities and are very invested in storytelling. Yes. Comedy is one of the coincidentally, right? These are coincidences, so I'm not suggesting that they're causal, but they are very strongly coincidental and correlates. Oftentimes when you think about high intelligent quotients, I'm not entirely sure if people find that great, but more so like mentalities, like empathy, highly sensitive empathy, or like charisma, often comes from having a lifetime of high fluctuation in emotional experiences, and then that flows into storytelling, right? The storytelling is imbued with that emotional, because that emotional state stays with the person. So when you don't have a maybe like adversarial or like adverse, adversity in your life and whatnot, those moments and whatnot are constantly echoing, they constantly replay, and that memory stays fresh. So when they're expressing and viewing their art form, which comedy is one of them, it's kept with them. They are living and utilizing that emotions. When you do not have, when you're very consistent, like a person that's incredibly consistent or muted, typically recency is what is most vivid in the moment. So when you're talking about the past, it can be muted because those emotions do not echo anymore. I call it echoing because when you have trauma or visceral observations, they tend to echo in your life. And then when you echo them, they become more and more vibrant and they tend to bleed into people's mentalities. So with those events, you are more and more likely to keep it to heart. As in, if you haven't experienced being wrong in a very emotional way, then over time, you no longer perceive that very well, right? You no longer look for it. And that's why there's a huge correlation between those who are incredibly emotionally cognizant and people who are very expressive in art, like when they pick up an art form. As a full disclosure, am I very emotionally distraught all the time? Yes and no. I am. I don't think I would consider myself someone who would express through comedy, but I express myself through being involved in other people's business. I'm all up in people's business. So the thing is, I try to do it discreetly because social media and stuff makes it very rapidly accessible to be all up in people's business while not interfering with them. So people watching. But that idea often comes from, how can I utilize other people's experiences in order to leverage my own stability? Every night I go through a routine that keeps me stable in my mania. I have many thoughts about people's lives and whatnot. Like when we have a conversation tonight, like this conversation we're having, it's not like I'm going to stop thinking about it and thinking about how I could improve or be more relatable in this situation. Conversationalism is reliant on people's mentalities. Like being able to keep the conversation going relies on a lot of consistent, constant managing of these emotional echoes. But most people don't want that, right? It is very taxing. It can be very exhausting, and it can be mentally draining. And one of the coincidences most of the time is artists, incredible like comedians, right? Comedians, empathetic individuals, people with high empathy tend to be people who are also managing a lot. And you often hear very, very unsurprising, in my opinion, should be unsurprising backstories about how they're managing very, very not ideal lives, right? Not ideal lives. So finding when you go to these people, when you read their stories, like their comedy, you read their books, you watch their movies and whatnot, those are expressions of things that they allow themselves to be stable, or they often find really wonderful ways to be excited about the mundane, or be excited about observing things that otherwise would be pretty mundane to someone who's incredibly emotionally stable, right? Like, how do I make learning Japanese exciting or fun? I think about it every day because I think it's really exciting and fun every day. So I spend most of my time trying to demonstrate that, trying to express it, trying to, by exposure, if someone knows me, they would get, my goal is to communicate or express why I like learning Japanese or Chinese or Spanish, or why I like playing Neverwinter despite making like a lot of negative comments. The idea is these are all part of balancing your emotional states and then connecting with other people in that process. in my opinion. So I really love the arts now for what it didn't do for me when I was younger. When I was younger, 18 years old, it's before I left the nest, Chinese decorum. I lived under a Chinese household, and that's you. If you have an emotional state, tuck it in, you bury it, never let it out, right? It's stoicism. But now, the nice thing about balancing the two is you can be appropriately stoic when required. I feel that I do present very mature topics oftentimes, but not necessarily in a way that would alarm people, like make people defensive or indirect. It still happens, obviously. It certainly still happens. However, the idea is through the appreciation for other people, especially comedy in a way. I do enjoy quite a bit of brand of comedy, like stand-up. I mean, like now we're talking about stand-up as opposed to film. Like a great one would be what's his name? Ben Carr? Is it Ben Carr? No, it's not Ben Carr. Something Carr. Jim Carr? No, not Jim Carrey. I'm not talking about Jim Carrey. What's his name? Is it Carr? A British dude, yes. What is his first name? Oh no. But oh no, that too. The felt guy. Yes, Jimmy Carr and the felt guy, the puppet guy too. I forgot his name. Um, like those type of things. That's fantastic. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And right now, Procol, he's British. Procol, I usually hang out with. Every weekend he like would come in and say hi and whatnot. He turned me on to a show called QI, and it features Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie in the first episode. So there's a great example of comedy. And Gecko, he's Belgium, and he suggested a British show. He's also into British comedy shows. So I was watching Taskmaster. So now I'm kind of like watching an episode of Taskmasters and then throwing in an episode of QI. And then I'm also catching up with the new season of Clarkson Farms. So those are all comedy related things, and they all happen to be British comedy. Largely because the people around me, the people that I hang out with on a daily basis, or maybe like the day to day, I take up what they are interested in. I think it allows me to have conversations with them. Not that you need to do this, but that's how I build on mentality and investing in other people's stories. I have a lot to say, but not intrusively. I can stop saying things if I choose so. But nowadays, I think younger people, like those who are in their 20s, enjoy having someone who continues to share things with while not needing to prompt them to share, because I do feel like there's a lack of that as a social norm nowadays. Like I can continue to name drop and find films or movies or things, and at some point, hopefully, with that sharing, there's something there that the other person is willing to start expressing. So over the years, I've been associated with 5 or 6 people over the years, and I think over time, in my opinion, they are maybe noticeably more expressive. And I do feel the internet sometimes diminishes this quite a bit. Like always being fed something that you want to see can really create a cage. And exploring movies that tries to break cage like the mundane and finding the beauty in the mundane, which is fantastic. I love the whole sentiment. Modern life movies do aim at creating appreciation for the mundane, and in that way it also challenges others to kind of consider your life might be average, but it's not average to someone else, at least in my opinion. So I make myself available all the time. I mean, I stream things for that very nature, right? I'm doing something relatively mundane right now, but that doesn't prevent me from trying to reach someone, getting someone to express their interest, and then maybe I can be a little bit part of that interest. Yeah, well, I'll have to tell you what I think about Perfect Days. Here's one that is a little bit grievance. Have you seen Farewell? Farewell is, I think it's just called Farewell in translate. It's a recent movie, and it has Aquafina as one of the 2019. The director is, it's a Lulu Wang, but Lulu Wang Wang would not be helpful. I think this is the first time. It might be first. No, it's not first time. Fifth time. She's not that proliferative, and I haven't seen any of her other films. Oh, it's her second time feature film, by the way. I haven't seen Posthumos. Like After Death. This is her breakout, I guess. 2019. She's only made 2, but she did work on lots of short films, which I haven't seen any of those as well. But for this film, huge accolades. So it's called Farewell, and it's a Asian American. It's somewhat of an Asian American portrayal, and she's I think she's Chinese native or Chinese transplant. Yeah, so she's a Chinese American, like she's nationalized in the United States. But yeah, quite a classical 1.5 Gen 2, 1.5 to Gen 2 things, and it represents a lot. Sounds like it's something like, oh, well, I'll give you a pitch. It's about what happens, what do you do when you know someone's gonna die? It's a modern life thing, so we're not talking about reincarnation and stuff. So we're not talking about anime things. It's what do you do as a family? What do you do as an extended family when you know someone's gonna die in the family? And it's the most like a thing that regularly comes up when you become older of age, and it is a Eastern and Western conflict. And as an like Asian Americans, especially Chinese American, this I actually literally had this conversation with my parents, because there is a conflict of interest. There's an indirect conflict of interest between Western society and Eastern society about the privilege of knowing and the burden of knowing such things. So that movie, it's not meant to destroy you, but it's like happy, but it's so bittersweet. Like you're smiling and possibly crying at the same time, and that's modern life. Yep. Farewell. And I think it's semi-autobiographical. I can't imagine that Lulu Wang, the director and writer of it, did not engage in this. So it's one of those movies like, you can even feel closer to the writer and the director. And yeah, you're definitely checking that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Perfect Days. That sounds right down my alley. You know what really makes me sad? Here's one from left field when it talking about modern life, but at the intersection of like a famous person or something. Miyazaki's last documentary. And what I mean by last documentary, I mean the most recent documentary. Like Miyazaki's, and we're talking about Hayao Miyazaki. I forgot what it's called. What is it? The one that I'm referring to is The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness. Man, did that make me a little sad. Like, oh, it's been over 10 years since this semi-documentary. Like, it's a documentary. It's a Japanese documentary. Is that old? It's 2013. So, this is the time when Miyazaki didn't announce his final film yet. Like, he didn't announce that he was coming out of retirement to make one final film, which ends up being The Boy and the Heron, right? But it's about, like, it's a slice of life. It's a slice of life documentary. It's about Miyazaki's legacy and what he does at Ghibli studio. So, or for Ghibli and stuff, and there's a chance you might have seen some clips from it. Online you can see a bunch of clips that show, like, oh yeah, like it like so heartwarming when you see, like, them working in Ghibli studio, and then Miyazaki's like, oh yeah, he's gonna go make food for the staff, and you just see him, like, in the kitchen throwing ramen packs into the, and then people, like, it might as well be a slice of life thing. It's like Shirobako, the anime. Yeah, it's so adorable. So you've probably seen, like, clips of Miyazaki interacting with his coworkers and stuff, and that kind of stuff is, that's what, that used to be the standard for, like, vlogging, like vlogging style things. But since the dawn of the new age stuff, nowadays, what do people do? They record themselves playing pranks on random strangers. That's life now, right? Like, people doing goofy things for clout. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's different. And back in the day, it's not that long ago. It's like over a decade ago, slightly within decades ago. There are individuals who you see their lives, and it's like being there temporarily, just momentarily, vicariously. And there are vloggers and other particular individuals, but they're not the highest saturation. They're not the most apparent people. Like, when you say, hey, come along. It is a growing trend, by the way. Like, in Japanese, especially Japanese, Korean, and Chinese filmmaking, and this might be a coincidence or it might be a cultural thing, but it's kind of one of those things. Hey, here's my daily life as an office worker. And I do see some of those, like, where they get a time to film, like, okay, here's me, 4-hour work schedule. Here's a little slice of life of all the things that I do within that 4 hours. I take a lunch break, right? And then that stuff is really neat to me. Like, I quite enjoy it. It's not necessarily, like, new, as in, oh, no one has ever done it. The idea is it balances out what the internet kind of unintentionally does for a lot of people's lives, especially kids, younger kids, where they feel like they have to be doing flips every single day of their lives, or they need to be pushing out 100 kanji every 10 days in order to, like, reach some sort of satisfaction, right? As opposed to, hey, I call up this kid, it's like, do you want to just go grab a sandwich? Like, and then be happy and excited about it. Oh, sorry, there's thunder out. It's kind of raining. So if I go out, if I just suddenly cut out, it's because the storm took me out. But that's besides the point. I think that's why I would encourage other people to also watch modern life films or coming of age films. I think those things ground a little bit, despite them being works of fiction or maybe semi-autobiographical and featuring fictional characters. It's a great way to balance the perspective. And I kind of feel you when you describe your schedule. Like when I asked you like what you were doing, like way early on, right? When I asked you like, oh, what are you doing for your study thing? It's great that you were able to describe your routine. And it's no surprise to me that we're both talking about like modern life stuff and coming of age and looking at different having a breadth of conversational interest. When I talk, this is not very typical. I'm gonna tell you for sure, this is more of a trust me situation, but over the 6 years, I would say 80 to 90% of conversations revolve around the aspect of they're not, either the person is giving me the impression that they're not good enough, so they do all of their ability to impress me, which I understand why people need to sound impressive to anyone in general on the online. But at the same time, every time I ask the person, so what do you do? Like, what are your motivations and whatnot? And from time to time, you get people who can detail their lives in a way to express, but I would say over 50% of the time, it's like pulling teeth. And what I mean by pulling teeth is in a more disappointing way. Like I want it would be lovely to like have a normalized behavior in which people are interested in their own lives. But a lot of times I'm not sure if it's out of modesty anymore. There was a time, in my opinion, maybe 15 or 20 years ago when people meet up, they're saying, oh, it's all right to be modest. But now I actually think when people say, oh yeah, you know, same old, it's the boring grind, I actually think they mean it. Like over 50% of the people that I've met, I think they actually mean it. And from myself, when I say it's all right, I'm actually waiting for an opportunity so that it doesn't sound like I'm simply talking. So I often ask a question, see how much conversational is that other person. If they offer lots of details, then I go hard. I double down. If you're gonna list like 3 or 4 movies that illustrate your thing, I am going to double down and add even more fuel to that fire. It's coffee table talk. You should be filled with things you want to share. I think healthy and incredibly excited people who like really care about their lives and then affect other lives charismatically, right? Mentally. They are excited, and they are also excited to hear other people being excited. It's a very bit of a doom gloom when someone says hi and then you say, how are you? Like, what are you up to? It's like, oh, you know, the usual. I'm like, okay, I could start, like, I'll share with you something, and then largely become non-responsive, right? Oh, you know, the usual. And I'm like, what do you mean the usual? Fictitious. You think for a while you got very self-conscious on oversharing, but as you got older, you got to realize it's better to say more as long as you mean it. Yes. And that's, in my opinion, maturity. And not maturity in a good or bad way, but maturity in terms of age. Like, oftentimes I give the benefit of the doubt. Like, I would offer something. I was like, hey, here, let me give you an example of my day. I started running. I got up in the day. I ran. I usually wake up about 2 p.m. because my sleep schedule is kind of shifted. So I try to detail a little bit about my share in order for someone to provide commentary. So I engage in adding a bit of detail here and there that sounds like it's nitpicky, because I think that resonates a lot better with people this day and age. So the moment I can get them to say something is the moment that I double down on that detail and then bring it back. So I'm referring to all the things that we've already shared today because it should be interesting. I hope it should be interesting. And I think older individuals are more likely to be, not that it's guaranteed, but they are more likely to be able to at the same time not care about their self-consciousness, but at the same time offer an ice break. They can lead conversations, and leading conversations allow those who may not be so experienced, and I often think it's younger people, to feel like not too over self-conscious. Like that's probably one of the big things. Like it took me so long to get someone to be happy for what they did in their day, than constantly telling me all the things they have to do that they haven't done yet and possibly can't achieve. I'm like, you gotta live in the moment a little bit. Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Try a little bit. Interesting talk today. You do think it's rare to go in depth on both sides? I feel like nowadays a lot of people go used to the quick conversation, yes, and are looking to get to the point fast, yeah. And rarely do they enjoy the journey or the nuances of the conversation. And sometimes they get to the point so fast, they only initiate conversation for that reason. So they're initiating conversation without the idea of wanting to let the conversation flow somewhere. They're usually having the conversation to look for a particular response and outcome. And when that response doesn't happen, they are disinterested. And if you give them a response that they do want, they're done with it. And that's the only thing they want to look for. That's the only thing they want to hear a lot of times. So it's kind of like when someone asks, hey, what is your opinion on the state of Neverwinter, the game I'm playing right now? And when I start, I do this routine nowadays. First, I give them the TLDR, right? You start with what they're looking for. It's like Neverwinter, same old, same old. It has that declining recession that happens because the developer does not innovate. It's a receding game, and it's an MMO, etc. Right? The stuff that is very straight to the point. And then I would give them a peace offering, and I would say, but a slightly longer answer, now with a little bit of nuance from my opinions. And then try to bring them into the conversation. So even my reviews and my introductions for different projects and games start in this structure now. You start with the summary, the facts, so they're non-negotiable, they're just facts. Like Neverwinter's game, the Neverwinter population is receding, period. There's no like emotion, you're looking for the quick point. And then I share and infuse some of my points and my anecdotes. That gives vulnerability to me. So then I offer them, what is your take on it? How do you feel about what I said just now and my opinions? Like, what is your experience with it? Sometimes people just leap to the end, which is great. Like someone would share their feelings on something and I would try to double down on that. That's so far like the current most consistent routine that I have with someone. And then we end up talking for 3 to 4 hours. Whoever ends up sitting, it will end up being like 3 to 4 hours over time. at least 2 additional hours. And here we are. This is the process happening. And that's what I do. Day in, day out. I wait and I do the same thing tomorrow, then the day after, then the day after that, while doing my thing. So it's not like I'm swimming in interaction. But whoever, I call this the happy dollars. Procall and the others have gotten used to my analogy to happy dollars. I start streaming and I've already deposited the happy dollars. So whoever comes across me, you get all the money figurative happy dollars up front, and then that's it. So I invest every single day. You do think people are also afraid to take the next step in that deeper level, or maybe it's just a lost art and people don't know how to anymore? I think you have two very valid points that are concurrently happening at the same time. All of the above. And then some more. Yeah, and then some more. But those are very two strong observations that I think are concurrently happening at the same time. So, or happening for sure. And I typically try to address most of them. Or I try to... I think awareness goes a long way. But why not, if you have the time, to offer the start, right? If someone has no problems talking to one person, I think that's a great way to start the first step, the first process. There is this really interesting trend, or like talking about behavioral response of the current generation that I've highlighted in not so way like a pity party kind of situation, but more the observation of the current observation. And one of the current observation is that those who are in their 20s right now, I'm not sure what you identify as, but in terms of people who grew up in the 2000s, like post 2000s and whatnot, the idea of companionship and loneliness, like having deeper conversations, elements of having depth in relations, has declined and deteriorated quite dramatically. And it's not a bad thing yet. Like, what I mean is, I don't necessarily believe that people think is a bad thing, as in the ones that are experiencing these things, but it's often leading to the idea of loneliness. And not loneliness in being literally not around people. I actually think the internet ushers in an incredibly unprecedented time in human history to be able to so conveniently connect with people. But loneliness, in the sense of the skills and social skills related to creating connections, have deteriorated, and not intentionally, probably at the unforeseen consequence of heavy reliance on middlemen that are automated, not human, of human nature, right? So you don't have to talk to anyone if you don't want to. In fact, sometimes this sounds really wild now, but I'm almost certain this is going to become far more the social norm. There are probably people now are considering the idea that they put an an LLM in between them and the person they have to talk to. So, for example, I actually, by coincidence, there was slightly an example yesterday when someone was doing it professionally. So, in order to talk to someone well, an LLM can facilitate that. So, in some ways, at some point, when you're trying to have a conversation with someone, it might actually be filtered and mediated by a middleman. But that middleman is no longer human. It is statistically bound by filtering all of your humanity out of your response. So nowadays, when I ever think about interacting with LLMs, when people talk about how they interact with LLMs, I often emphasize you can use LLMs in a way to construct and inspire ideas, but in the long run, I think it would be fantastic if you convert that into something that you have infused of yourself. So I've already seen examples where people would say, well, I don't know how to say this, or I don't know how to respond to this. So instead, I just ask ChatGPT to say it and then send it. You know, there are times when you hear like cue the potential dystopia in the future idea where someone would, in order for them to engage in social interactions, they use a surrogate to replace themselves, and that allows them to do so. Now, that is a great step. It's a great proactive step to getting out of your shell and practicing communication in baby steps. However, it stops there. Like, what I mean is, the convenience of technology has made it so incredibly convenient that development of conversations stop, like, immediately. Like, there's no incentive anymore, or there's no visible or conceptual incentive on understanding how to have deeper conversations until it becomes a problem. And what I mean by a problem is until it becomes a desirable thing. And one of the things that I enter a conversation about quite a lot when someone is starting to approach their 30s now, since I'm getting old and I'm starting to approach my 40s, is the idea that they feel lonely. And not lonely in the sense that they don't have anyone to hang out with. They often feel lonely because people don't understand them, or they feel like their friends are completely disjointed from them because the social norm is that you don't express interest in that way because you don't need to anymore. You can have a machine do it for you. How do you know how to play with a friend who isn't at your skill level? You don't. You simply don't. You let a machine determine it. Yeah. Oh, it's a Perfect Days too? Yeah. I mean, the themes run really deep in most of these movies. So all the other movies that I mentioned, I wouldn't be surprised. You think pacing in life is a big thing? I see. Yeah. But you in terms of comparing other people, yeah, you know what I mean though. It's not like designed. I think it's unintentional. It was an unintentional consequence of modern technology. Now that these decisions are removed, you don't see the consequences or the desire of them until they are desirable. So, like, for example, when someone says, none of my friends, all my friends always like bail on me and they never pay attention to me, right? That kind of thing. Or I don't have any friends, or I don't have any friends that understand me, or I got into an argument with my friend and it turns out that we didn't end up liking the same thing. To me, it's not because those people are like inherently trying to be antisocial, or maybe they're introverted, or in my opinion, with grain of salt, they have attention span problems or whatnot. I actually think it's the reliant on technology that de-incentivizes skills that at the moment, in the moment, it doesn't have any importance. As in, there's no pragmatic thing in investing in talking with other people or finding opportunities to just hang out and talk without playing a video game, or talk without something facilitating the connection. Because in my opinion, when that connection disappears, companionship disappears too. Like, this is the difference in mindset. For example, when I see someone say, hey, do you want to play this game with me? I see it as an opportunity to grow a friendship out of that opportunity. Nowadays, if I had to voice what it's like vicariously, this is my observation of young adults in their 20s, when they say, if you want to play a video game with me, that is the only task that they're referring to when they build the friendship, like when they have the friendship. So the friendship is within the context of that task. It's not an opportunity to develop more skills that involve building a friendship out of it. It's rarely that task to do so. Like, for example, even in professional relationships, as in you go to a job and you see the coworkers like, the coworkers doing their own thing, like they look like they're having crummy time, but I'm not going to touch that, like, because it's not my job to do that. Like, there's nothing in it for me. But my first thought is, well, there's a lot of skills to be developed when you think of people as investments. But if they don't get you ahead in the job, then that's actually deviating time away from being, good at your job. And that skill no longer has a pragmatic use. In fact, most of the time, when I mention how important, or like when I mention the potential incentives for being able to communicate, right? Being able to communicate, it often comes off as, I'll deal with it later. It's like, nah, that's not important. Like, I don't see how being emotionally intelligent. I literally had like a troll come in yesterday and say emotional intelligence doesn't exist. I'm not talking about it's not a personality quirk. Emotional intelligence is not like your intelligence. It's understanding. It's a skill. Emotional intelligence is you're collecting intelligence to be emotional. Like, when you collect experience, it makes you emotionally intelligent. If you can't relate to someone who has lost a grandfather, you can go and read and engage and listen to people who have lost their grandfather recently. That is gaining emotional intelligence, and it may be able to practice emotional intelligence. But when someone says video games are boring, when I was talking about video games, and immediately I say, well, that sounds like maybe emotional intelligence might be interesting to you. And they say emotional intelligence doesn't exist. That's exactly what I mean by someone who lacks emotional intelligence. But that also doesn't mean that they were being malicious. I think they were trying to be funny. That's probably the unfortunate part. I think they might want to be a contrarian because I mean, that person didn't hurt my feelings because I know that that's the social norm. That is the social norm of how people interact when they talk about things they like. They either dodge it, divert it, or avoid it entirely by counter arguing with no form of themselves. Like, I actually literally asked them, and there's no response. They already left by then. I asked them, oh, so what do you find not boring? Right? That's my first response. When you think video game is boring, then what don't you find that is not boring? I can learn about it. But instead, that's all that person decided to do. That's how that person decided to use their time. All right. You agree? Friendship are more isolated nowadays and seem more categorized. Yeah, not sure exactly how society cut that way, but you're afraid that it's only going to go more in that direction. You're enjoying this talk. Unfortunately, you have to go pick up your friend. Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, it sounds like I forgot that you live like in a different. You're practically getting up. Like, it's your day. So I'm about to head out. So, I just wanted to take this opportunity. I was gonna head out sooner, but you stopped by, so it's always worth the chat, right? It's always worth the investment. I'll let you go. Thanks for hanging out. I enjoyed it. It gives me an opportunity to fill this space. Neverwinter is my like vibe thing, so if you ever find me playing Neverwinter, I'm always open for all the chats. Yeah, good luck. Safe travels, by the way. Safe travels, and I hope you and your friends go out and eat a great dinner or something. Yeah. I'll definitely check out that. I'll check out Perfect Days. I think that sounds amazing. Definitely go and chill with your friends. Good luck. Good luck. It was a wonderful chat. Thanks for hanging out. Take care. Take care. All right. 65. Where are we? We're at. Yeah, we gotta do this stuff. We're almost done here. and then we're gonna head out. Perfect Days. It looks like it got never heard of this, but it looks good. I wonder how much Japanese is in. What a way. Got a great conversation, shared some stuff, and got a movie out of it as well. I'm basically farming people at this point. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. We have patrol, wraiths, keys. So we can go to wraiths, grab a patrol there. I gotta close up today. Sorry, I got really into the conversation. There's just so much wonderful opportunities to double down when someone mentions movies and comedy and stuff. One patrol. Oh no, then we're going a race, right? Oh boy, not what I meant. The heck? I think dropping down off the cliffside definitely makes your character do the whole path like artificially. So it like aggroes everything. Like there's no path break. So if you're dropping down here, it's as though your body is going straight down the path very quickly. So it aggroes everything along the slope. Probably what they. There is a break somewhere. I didn't mean to go down like straight like that. Actually, what is this? This is 1, 2, 15. No, let's just do this. Alright. Chit chat. We'll probably try to do a little bit of that every week. For the remainder of weeks, right? We got today's week 6, so we still got week 7, 8, 9, and 10. I prepared a couple stories in my back pocket, in case I get an opportunity to break them out. I come with stories. What was this? Can't go too late, otherwise I won't have enough time to watch the movie. Probably one of the downsides, or one of the trade-offs. Gotta make time. So I'm not sure if this is intentional. Where you can pull this switch, then you have to do the maze again. Interesting. It's kind of a nice touch. Still very long. A nice touch. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yep. I keep forgetting to turn left. Hit the 5. Give me this. All right. I'll walk all the way back. Ugh. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's 15, right? 15. We need another 5. We're gonna take out a patrol while we get back to Prince. Let's make a left here. The patrol is probably just standing there. Yep. Are you serious? Look at this. Look at this. How is that immune? I was like behind the person. I really dislike those types of 180 things. I think most of the 180 things are not synchronized properly. I knew that was gonna happen. Like there was a 50-50 chance that was gonna happen. Usually you wait until the image is up. It's the same as any cone effect, cone attacks and whatnot. Fangbreaker's first boss is classic example. I'm being dramatic. It's not like it's unexpected. Alright, and then we are 10 short, right? I did the maths. Okay. Alright. Here we have it. Amazing. Alright, folks. That's a wrap. You know what? What would make a great... Let's go to a location. Where can we go for... Trying to think of a place that would look great. That's kind of awkward. No, that's maybe like here. Yeah. What was it? Was it Alt? Was it Control? Was it shift? Oh, was it tab? That's not it. I swear there was a button. That's not it. Oh, there it is. Ooh, that really zooms in, doesn't it? Okay. Hey. Get out of here, Dweller. Yeah. Maybe a little further back. I don't know, this is pretty good. Alright, folks. There you have it. Hung out. That's a wrap for week 6. As one might expect. It is business as usual. This time it's a 5, right? 5. So far this module has been averaging, we're gonna say like somewhere below 5. It's less than 5. This is a below average module overall. But no surprises after week 5 for myself, but typically it's week 4 for most people. No additional things. It's maybe some sort of tier lock. Maybe tier the milestone was to unlock accessibility to certain equipment. That can happen. Maybe a gear set. I don't know what happened. You get a reward. The next milestone's in 2 weeks. Probably the same deal. It opens up the bottom right hand part of the journal to give you more currency. It's pretty average. 5 out of 10. No surprises. So much like most of these other weeks, I will pretty much take the opportunity as much as I can to sprinkle in some conversations, talk about gaming if appropriate. Otherwise, we'll be talking about like language learning and other things. Typically life stuff. When you play a live service game, honestly, in my opinion, when I log in to play a live service game, if I have someone else who loves to play live service games with me, like maybe Hearthstone or something, you usually try to have deeper conversations while also playing the game, because like most live service games, you've probably done it for quite some time now, and while it's fantastic to focus on the game, I typically use these opportunities to catch up with people, whichever they might be. So if you're gonna watch this later, thank you. But again, always free to always welcome to come on by, grab some hot takes or ask some questions, maybe something like that, in order to proliferate the live service experience. I personally think that live service games have, despite the business practices and whatnot, I think a healthy environment and relationship with live service games is using it as like an opportunity to chat. It's like going out for a piece of, going out for coffee, going out for Saturday brunch or something. Instead, I feel like live service is the modern take on that. However, like I said earlier, with to allude back to the friendships are becoming more isolated nowadays, I think at the moment, automation in live service models and whatnot, they aren't necessarily making a strong incentive to have to communicate with other people or exchange in this way. And I just wanted to illustrate the point that it takes time for these things to happen. But I don't think it's intentional or malicious or anything. I think it's people getting used to a certain type of interaction, and then you kind of see the trade-offs of that interaction. One very noticeable trade-off, and I'm pretty sure Cryptic is no exception in noticing that once they have implemented auto matching, auto queuing and stuff, there are people on Neverwinter that actually uses LFG and communication still, but for the most part, modern live service games have diminished the need to communicate with each other. And then the constant use of introducing metrics, which Neverwinter still has a very rudimentary, archaic way of using metrics, and people bicker about metrics all the time, like, oh, does this reflect contribution or not? In my opinion, it removes the need for communication. You don't necessarily need to do anything if a number tells you you're better than another person, or if a number says you're doing more than another person, right? Then it comes down to understanding how statistics work and how data works and how metrics adequately or appropriately be used for actionable decision making. And honestly, if I had to be really, really direct about this, without a professional background in handling big data or using or participating in a field that actually leverages statistics and large data or data analyses, oftentimes the lack of communication and incentive in these games come out very obviously in emotional cherry picking of data in order to forward their case, and it exacerbates or illustrates the point of what I'm making, or what it maybe not Tom and I kind of touched on when it comes to friendship is isolated and seems far more categorized. And that categorization creates reductive nature, but it also circumvents and expedites answers and questions. How do you get a quick answer to how good you are? Give them an item level. How do you not have to ask someone what their experience are? Inspect their gear. That's kind of how the world has come to normalize that behavior. Meanwhile, I would fail or I would attempt something so many times, anytime, for a good story. Or maybe something that goes beyond the value of the game objective, right? But that is fairly rare these days. So feel free, stop on by, right? Have a conversation. You can counter argue all you can counter to your heart's delight. Tell me that I'm talking too much about that I'm way off beat, that the internet culture and gaming and convenience of stuff has furthered deeper relationships and haven't eroded communications and whatnot. I would love to hear compelling arguments, right? And over, I don't know, some live service or a drink or something. Figuratively, obviously. Anyone who's watching could be having a coffee drink. You don't have to literally play Neverwinter. But it'd be interesting if you do. I think about these things when I play live service games. It gives me a time to reflect. Keep my hands and eyes busy while my brain is focusing on something else. So, there you have it. So until next week, I'll be back next Monday, reset day, for another 3 times before we give Neverwinter, give doing this for another 3 or 4 months until the next module, or maybe when they announce that Neverwinter is closing down, whichever it may happen, right? Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, happy gaming, enjoy the appreciate life, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye.